The Persona series takes heavy inspiration from Carl Jung, a Swiss psychiatrist. A core theme for the Persona series is the idea of analytical psychology, which focuses on the importance of the individual psyche and includes concepts such as the id, superego, anima, animus, and the self. Often referred as Jungian psychology, the license plate of the car in Persona 4 is CH8700, a reference to Jung's hometown, Küsnacht. CH is a country code for Switzerland, and 8700 is a postal code for the town. Welcome to Professionally Casual Gamers, the podcast where two friends kick back after a long work week and casually talk about everything gaming. I'm your host, Ralph, joined by my co-host and League of Legends fun spoiler, Alex. I couldn't even keep it together.
Yeah, I was looking at that and like started shaking my head immediately.
So League of Legends
false propaganda.
League of Legends fun spoiler, Alex. How have you been?
Yeah, I've been pretty good. Starting the new job next week, so super excited about that. Also, there was a lot of video game news, a lot of fun, exciting video game news this past week. So looking forward to talking about that. In terms of like video games that I played, not really crazy, but I guess we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I'm doing good. Happy to be here. Also, happy drinking my pistachio latte from Starbucks.
Alex, every time we record, listeners, Alex's first thought is, so we stopping by Starbucks or what?
Getting that sweet, sweet lemon loaf, baby.
Yeah, it's a good time. But yeah, Alex, forever will be known as a League of Legends fun spoiler. Okay. Because he just doesn't want to play games anymore. He's too much of an adult now.
Dude,
I ask him, I'm like, all right, we played these 2 games. Can we play one more, please, so I can try something out? And he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it because he doesn't like fun.
But I did let you.
No,
you didn't.
It didn't happen.
Yeah, you didn't get the champion and the role you wanted, but
yeah.
Anyway,
so
whatever.
Alex doesn't like fun,
okay.
But Alex, what are you playing?
Okay, so pretty light on video games. Like I said, I did beat Control.
Okay,
however, so I can talk about that.
Awesome. What's your objective score and your feeling score?
Okay, so Control has a lot of really cool stuff going for it. Again, just kind of harping on the positives I've mentioned before. Very cinematic, very eerie in the tension. You could like really feel it. It does a really good job of like really portraying what sort of environment the main character is in that you're going through, which is really cool. The combat is very fun as well. Like floating around with telekinesis powers, it's always just going to be great. Also some shooter mechanics here and there. And yeah, it's a good game. The storyline is interesting. Okay, no, I shouldn't say that. The storyline definitely is interesting. When I beat it,
yeah.
When I beat, I was like, I still have questions. Mm-hmm. And I feel like not everything was answered for me, so it's a little frustrating. And excuse me, pistachio latte is coming up a little bit. I thought the ending was a little unsatisfying. So okay. There in the last part you kind of do like this run where you're going across like enemies and you have to like I don't know, like touch the pyramid or whatever the heck. And then the game just kind of ends and I breeze through that like super easily. And there are parts in the game that are pretty difficult, but not that part. And I thought like, okay, they're doing this or making me run through these enemies to get to the boss. And then it just ended. And I was like, huh.
Maybe
how about that?
You're just too good.
No, I don't think I am. But yeah, so it was interesting. And then another disappointment was just getting around in the house. The lack of clarity in the map. I had mentioned in the past how I wanted to platinum this because I was really enjoying my run. And then a lot of what you have to do for the platinum is do like side missions. Just like retrace and discover hidden parts of the map. And I like tried to do some and I was just getting so frustrated with navigating all these corridors and stuff in the map. And I'm like, this is like ruining my perception of the game. And like all the fun I had, all the positive thoughts, they're kind of just going down the drain because of my frustrations trying to navigate this house now. So I'm not going to get the platinum just because I don't want to deal with the frustrations of navigating around the map. I don't want to spend time with it.
Are you doing the DLC?
No, I don't really care to do DLC. What? I don't know, to be honest.
I think it's cool. Like, I looked into what the DLC looks like. I haven't had a chance to do it because when I bought the Control on the PC, the complete edition wasn't out yet, and I'm not really the type of person that buys the DLC a la carte unless I really love the game. And the concepts behind the DLC is really interesting because, listeners, so one thing about Control is that you end up as the director of this entire organization, and after the game, you're just completely the director. So you're handling this weird organization that handles weird things. And so the DLC, the way they add it is they add certain sections to the building where something goes awry. So it's completely separate from the game, but I think it's fascinating, the concepts that are behind the DLC, so I do want to check it out. I'm just bummed about it because I have the complete edition for my PS5, and I just don't want to play the game again. I just want to jump into the DLC.
Yeah, like, I actually unknowingly started, like, the Alan Wake stuff.
Oh, okay.
But you can't just, like, access that from the beginning. You need to get through, like, at least halfway through the game before they let you. So, yeah, that is kind of a bummer for people who might be revisiting the game who just want to do the DLC. But overall, super fun game, relatively short. I want to say I put in like 12-ish hours or so. I would probably give it like 7. 7.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Based on like how you score things, that's a good game. So.
Yeah, very unique experience. There's this part that Ralph really loved.
The headphone section.
Yeah, so there's a part where this janitor, like from literally the first scene of the game is just so weird. And you're just like, who is this guy? Like, what's his deal? And you never really find out. And
it's kind of cool, too, because, like, so you see this janitor at the beginning of the game, and this is kind of like a little bit of, like, light spoilers. So he's, like, at the beginning of the game, and then you have a preconceived notion that, like, oh, like, janitors are, like, the bottom of the totem pole of the organization. And then once, like, you kind of play the game a little bit more, you figure out that he's, like, a larger figure, and it's, like, he's a more important figure.
Yeah, he knows way more than, you know, an outsider looking in would imagine. But yeah, he gives you, there's this part where like it's just like a maze and these walls keep like forming and like disappearing and you can't do anything
it's
until
cool.
Yeah, but then the janitor gives you his headphones like, oh yeah, you need to wear these while you clean the area or whatever. You put on, it's like this rock and roll section, and as you're like battling the enemies and going through like all these corridors, it like, I don't know how they did it.
It like flips, right?
It syncs up so well, like beginning, middle, end, this song to like your run through this corridor, which is interesting because like they're enemies. So like obviously your pace and my pace of going through this is going to be different based on like how we fight. But like it lines up so perfectly. So like I said, it does like artistically, this game is like awesome. And like the moods, the environments, like everything it tries to portray, I think it does very well. But yeah, there's just some story beat stuff and some, you know, basic navigational issues that like they made me more frustrated than maybe I should have been, but it is what it is. Overall, like it was a, you know, quote unquote free game with PlayStation Plus. Super happy to play.
Yeah, I'm really hoping there's a Control too, because I think, yes, there are definitely issues with the story beats there. And yes, I do completely agree that the map is very convoluted. I had the same issue. So listeners, if you haven't played Control, the map, imagine using an architect's like layout. Like it's like a 2D architect plane. Like that's what the map looks like. It's just like lines and words next to them, so it's really hard to navigate. And what the issue with that is that there's different levels to the house, so when you go upstairs, like you get really lost. It
still looks like you're on the first floor,
so it's super confusing there. And then the other thing too, I did want to ask you, what did you think about the motel? I thought the motel section was super cool.
Oh yeah, I still don't like understand what the motel, like why it's there, like what it's really supposed to be. But those sections they're super trippy and they're really just psychologically cool.
Yeah. I'm excited for the second one, but don't say that. I want it to happen. They made a lot of money this year, so
yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm hoping. On my end, I did end up playing a lot of different games. They're not the longest games, so obviously Alex needed to take some more time to play his. But I did finish up Oxen Freeze. It's this game. It's like a story-based game on Xbox.
We're 10 minutes in, by the way.
We played. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
So no, you're fine.
Alex wants to like speed me up.
I'm just saying. So you have 20 minutes essentially to talk about all your bullshit.
Oh my god. So yeah, Oxen Freeze was like this short experience that I had. It was really buggy for me, so that was like a bummer.
Can you explain exactly what Oxen Freeze is?
So Oxen Freeze is a story.
It's also on sale on
is it? It's like 99 cents, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so Oxen Freeze is a story-based game. It's like a choose-your-own adventures, like some puzzles here and there. You're this teenager. Your brother recently died. That's not like super spoilery. And then you get a new stepbrother. And then you go to this island to party with your friends.
Nice.
And so something happens and then shenanigans ensue. And the gist of it is that you are stuck on the island because there are ghosts there. So there are ghosts that are trying to keep you on the island, and they're trying to possess your bodies so that they can leave the island.
So they can be oxen free.
I guess. I don't know. But it was a very cool experience. There's these things like time loops that they add, and like some things that you see don't necessarily need to like happened in real life. And there's like some really interesting puzzles there, and the characters are really endearing. They have like some really interesting depth to them. The main issue that I had with Oxen Freeze, because it's a very short experience. I played it for like 3 hours and I beat it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. The main issue with it was that it's super buggy. And so when I would go into a different section of the map, a new song would play, but the old song kept on playing. So that really bugged me. And so if you go to another section of the map, and there was like this weird audio bug, and so like 3 songs would be playing at the same time. So that was really annoying. So that kind of ruined the experience.
I wonder if that's a game thing or if it's like a on the PC
Maybe.
thing.
I don't know.
I don't know.
But I didn't like it. And then at the end, I beat the game, and I got gypped because it froze, and I didn't get my ending. So I had to watch my ending. YouTubed it? Yeah, so I had to watch my ending through someone else. And so there's like... So like there's different endings to the game, like multiple. I looked up some spoilery stuff that I don't want to spoil for people. People do end up going through it. It is a very interesting game. It was a very slow start for me, but as you uncover more of the story, it really hooked me, and I wanted to learn more. So it's something that you should definitely check out. I ended up playing Persona 5 Strikers, so that came out last week. I really enjoy it. There's a lot of Persona. Nice. The characters are really good. The combat, I'm still getting used to. I think I'm bad at the game because I beat the first boss.
Super different.
Right. So I beat the first boss, and it took me 4 tries, and I just don't understand what I'm doing wrong. But I did end up beating them. I really enjoy it. I smiled a lot. It's just essentially like meeting up with old friends, and it's the same style. Yeah. And the music, they reorchestrated some of the music, and it's really good. So
cool. Honestly, like part of why, like, I don't think either of us have an interest in Dynasty Warriors / Musou games, but just the idea of revisiting these characters in like a new storyline, just like that alone just makes you want to play it.
So it's really good. The combat, I think, is much more complex than any other of the Dynasty Warriors / Musou games, because it definitely has a lot of the Persona stuff on it. So, kind of. So you can cast your spells as if you normally are, and they're kind of like AoE spells, and you can target people's weaknesses. And then you have combos aligned with each of the characters, and you can use all of the different characters. So there's a lot more depth.
Is Haru actually good this time?
Haru's really good. I like Haru. She's really strong.
Did you use a shotgun?
She has a grenade launcher. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
noob tubing.
Yeah, so she's super strong, and I enjoyed a lot. The main thing that's kind of a little bit disappointing for me so far is that because it's not really a Persona game, you're not managing your time. So you are not trying to develop relationships with people, because obviously you've already developed your relationships with them in the previous games. So you're not getting that life simulator slice of life part of Persona, which I think is something
that's like my favorite part of those games.
Right, yeah. So it's like it's just all dungeon, which is fun, and like story here and there. Yeah. So you don't get to split up the gameplay here and there. It's just cutscene or you go through the dungeon. So it's a really good game. I'm enjoying it so far. So hopefully it finishes up strong. I know I played a lot of games. I did end up playing the Outriders demo. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I do want to say that if you like your Destinies, if you like your Anthems or your Divisions, I think what I've seen of the Outriders demo so far is it's much better than those games. I know that's kind of like a crazy hyperbole, and that's a really grandiose statement, but I'm extremely surprised of how good Outriders has been as an experience.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been kind of in the loop with Outriders just because, like, you know, we have this podcast, and, you know, it's just something that Ralph and I just pay attention to in general is video games and video game industry news. But Outriders really is not getting, like, the attention and love perhaps it deserves. It's by Square Enix, so it's by a reputable studio developer. And then also it's, I don't remember I was going to say this, but I watched Ralph play for a little bit, and it seems, like, really polished, and the gameplay does seem really fun. So I haven't played the demo. Thinking about checking it out this weekend, possibly on Sunday. So maybe I'll just throw in my 2 cents about it next week. But yeah, someone who hasn't really played Destiny or Division or anything like that, any of those games of service, it's got my interest. It seems really cool. So I think I want to try it.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I ended up playing Wreckfest because I was downloading Persona 5 Strikers, so I got it on Game Pass, and it's just such a fun game. It is just a fun version of Destruction All-Stars.
Womp,
it is
womp.
No, like, really, if you played on your PlayStation, like on PlayStation 1 when you're younger, it really gives off the same vibes as Destruction Derby. I don't know if anyone's ever played that, but I played it and I really enjoyed it.
Wait. You're not talking about Twisted Metal?
Not Twisted Metal.
There's another game?
Yeah, so Destruction Derby is like this racing game with just where you crash into other cars and you break them. And it's super fun. And I'm really enjoying Wreckfest. And I think I'm going to play that as like one of my, like, if I'm waiting for another game to load, I'll play Wreckfest. It's a really good time. But yeah, that's what I've been playing so far. But there is a lot of industry news this week. And I want to get into it. First and foremost, PSVR 2 was just confirmed.
Let's go!
What? So
let's go.
Sony has confirmed that a successor to PlayStation VR is coming to PS5 in the near future, and it will enable the ultimate entertainment experience with dramatic leaps in performance and interactivity. It won't be wireless though. The headset connects to the PS5 using a single cord, which is still a far more simplified setup than the current PSVR uses, which is probably why I don't play my PSVR anymore.
How many cords are on the PSVR now?
There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 cords.
Including like headphones?
No.
Oh, okay.
So 5 cords, I guess.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so it's a lot of cords.
Damn,
it's a lot of setup. So I don't really use it. I'm using my Quest. So the new PlayStation VR headset will also incorporate the DualSense wireless controller, but Sony will also release a dedicated VR controller that focuses on great ergonomics. The headset won't be launching in 2021, as Sony admits there's still a lot of development underway for our new VR system. Alex, are you excited for this announcement? I know that you won't get a Quest 2 because you want to get a PSVR 2. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm super excited. Again, and we've been seeing a lot of this in the news lately, where it's like, we don't really have any substantial news, but it's coming. Flashbacks to Breath of the Wild 2.
Oh my.
But yeah, and we all kind of knew it was coming, so it's a bummer it's not coming out this year, but as we've seen,
were you expecting it to come out this year?
I don't really know what I was expecting, to be honest, but I mean, if they said like, hey, it's gonna come out this year, I'd be like, hell yeah, let's go. So I'm not like terribly surprised it is what it is, but if they need to work out stuff for it, let them do it and then release it when it's ready. I guess the only bummer is that there is a cord, but comparing it to like the 4 that the PSVR uses, the PSVR 1 rather, that's a cool improvement. And maybe there'll be like a next iteration headset that is wireless to the PS5. Who knows?
Yeah.
Right? Who knows? So I'm looking forward to it. It'll be like, assuming I can get my hands on it, like pre-order it, it would be a day one.
I think you'd be able to pre-order it. I don't VR is definitely something that people are excited about and people are using. It's a lot more people have had that VR experience at this point. But it's not it's a attachment. So I don't think
Yeah,
there's going to be that many people that are going to be fighting for it. My first thoughts was, dang, it's not wireless. That was my first thing.
Yeah.
My other thought for the PSVR 2 is it better have external cameras. So right now, Oculus Quest doesn't use any cameras and it has room scale. So one of the main drawbacks for the PSVR, one of the reasons I don't use it is it uses the PlayStation camera. So it's really just front facing. So the moment you turn around, it starts kind of getting wonky. The reason the Quest 2 is super cool is because it has cameras outside of it, so it can see the entire room while you're moving with it. So it'll never lose track of your controllers. It'll never lose track of your body. So that's what makes it super cool, and I hope PSVR has that same implementation. The one thing that I do think is really exciting about PSVR 2 is the use of the DualSense technology.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the only thing that kind of makes me like, oh, maybe I should get a PSVR 2.
And the exclusives.
I guess. Yeah. But there's way more exclusives on the Quest than there is on the PSVR.
Yeah. Well, you know
I mean?
Sometimes quality over quantity, Ralph.
Half-Life Alyx.
That's true.
Half-Life Alyx 2, probably. I don't know. There's a bunch of...
Did you ever beat that?
I haven't even played it. I have too many games to play right now. So I'll probably play Half-Life Alyx the moment I, have like a little lull, probably over the summer or something.
Cool.
But yeah, so PSVR 2 is super cool. That's an interesting thing. I'm probably assuming it's going to launch 2023.
Oh, 2023?
Yeah. I think so, yeah, because there's development issues with COVID right now.
Right, there always are.
And two, they're probably trying to figure out what a good time to launch it, along with maybe they're also waiting for a second iteration of PS5. So
the half grade.
Yeah. So
yeah, we'll see.
It's weird thinking about it now since the PS5 just launched.
Literally.
Yeah, so but there's definitely some impact on what they're trying to see, because right now Oculus is releasing a headset every year, so they can't fall behind on specs on that. So that's definitely something that they need to take into consideration. Cool. Yeah. So, State of Play, speaking of Sony, also happened this week. So a lot of news for me for once. Everything seriously announced from Sony State of Play, I'm just going to go through them, all, and then we can figure out which ones we want to talk about. So,
well, let's do how we normally do. Like, let's talk about one of them, and then if we feel like we need to make comments.
Yeah, that works. So, the show started with Crash 4, which offers a 4K 60 FPS gameplay, 3D audio, faster loading times, and reactive triggers on PlayStation 5. Yes. No?
So yeah, I've really never been into the Crash games, but like I saw that, I'm like, this looks like a fun game, not like a really like crazy cutting edge game. But it's like, oh yeah, this is a fun game. Just kind of play it maybe a couple hours before bed or something. So I feel like I might get it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you like grow up?
I'm not a platformer person, so anything platformer already like goes through my.
I heard they're like deceptively hard.
Sam loves Crash.
Yeah,
she really likes. She grew up with the Crash Bandicoot games. I ended up buying the Crash collection or whatever.
Trilogy.
Yeah, the trilogy collection, which I think is actually free if you're PS5.
It's on the PS Plus collection.
Yeah, so I ended up buying it. Sam played it for a little bit, but then her brother, like a while back, like maybe a year or two ago, stayed over from college with us to. He stayed at our apartment. He beat all of it and platinumed it for himself.
Seriously?
Yeah. So they love, like, that family really loves Crash.
Yeah, I wish I grew up with it. I was an N64 kid.
Yeah. For sure. So we got another quick look at Returnal.
So
Alex's face
I'm getting like roguelike vibes.
It is a roguelike.
It is a roguelike. Yeah. Okay. That's kind of a turnoff for me.
What? Hades?
No, I know.
Good.
Well, I didn't enjoy Hades nearly as much as you did. I thought it was worth buying. It was fun. Greek mythology, always a good time. But like, I just like more traditional setups for like narratives and like games.
My heart, it cracks.
Like I don't like going through something, dying, having to return, then going through the gauntlet again. I don't know.
But like you learn from it. It's like
I know, like I understand like that is literally the point of a roguelike. So I don't know, it's just kind of
and it's just super replayable because like your builds change. It's like cool. It's like a new experience every single time.
Okay. That's such an I hate that statement.
What do you mean?
To describe roguelike. Like it kind of is like there are new aspects, but like it's not a new experience every time. Let's not kid ourselves.
I think so.
Okay, I don't think so. And maybe that's why...
especially with Hades, because with subsequent clears, I don't know why we're talking about Hades when we're supposed to be talking about
similar.
Yeah, but especially with Hades, where subsequent clears, the bosses change, they become more difficult, like enemies change, there's
it's
more
still the same overall boss design though. You even though there are some stuff to be different, you can tell what they're going to be throwing at you.
No, the bosses change significantly.
You know better than me. Yeah, I didn't do that, but I don't know. I guess what turns me off about Returnal is that it looks like it really could have a cool narrative, but I just don't like how it's in the roguelike form.
Yeah. I think
I just want something more.
I think it's linked to the narrative. Yeah. So because it's one of those things where you die and then you learn more about the experience. So I think that's where it's coming from.
And in the state of play trailer, the combat seemed so wow, what's the word I'm looking for? Not bad. Just there's way too much going on.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's kind of their
and
MO.
And then the person, got their butt kicked in the trailer. I'm like, are you sure you want to be showing that? They, died, and but I
think that's the point, right? Yeah. They need to show that you die, and then you come back to life.
It seemed, disorienting. Yeah. The combat seemed... There's, so many, huge enemies on the screen and stuff. Which Hades, it worked, because it was, top-down. So, but this is, third-person shooter, a lot of movement in that regard. So, I don't know. We'll see how it does, but it seems interesting. Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily for me, but it does seem interesting. I forgot
the devs for the game, but they did make a lot of some really good PS4 games. So they did Resogun, they did Dead Alliance, or Alien Nation and Helldivers. So they have that's kind of their MO. So this is their first time leaving that kind of space. So I'm curious to see what they're gonna do. So here's an exciting thing for Alex. He's super excited about this.
Oh,
so he's Knockout City, baby.
Unironically, I am very excited.
So Knockout City, the team-based dodgeball game from Vicarious Visions, which showed up in last week's Nintendo Direct, also made an appearance on the State of Play. So Alex, obviously you want to talk about it.
There's a one-on-one mode, which I'm probably won't really touch, but the 3-on-3 mode, you, me, B-Wall, let's get it.
I don't get
dodgeball.
it though. It's dodgeball. It's fine.
Yeah, it looks cool.
It's a third-person shooter with one bullet.
Yeah. Well, but then you have character-specific powers or something. You can throw your teammate in there.
Yeah, they're you don't have a ball, turn into one.
Yeah. Man. So I signed up for the beta. It's an EA game, so I had to make an EA account and all that. I felt a little dirty making an EA account, but I did it. All for Knockout City. And the beta comes out.
EA never hire Alex.
Yeah, right.
If he wants a job, never give him a job.
Yeah,
EA.
it's out in the open. We'll get to EA later and more with one of the more industry news, but I've been turning over a new leaf to EA.
Yeah.
Especially with Knockout City. They may just want
Knockout City, baby! One thing that is a cool concept for Knockout City, and I'm really not that interested in it.
Bruh.
Alex literally was like, yo, Ralph, we gotta play this Knockout City. And I was fun. I don't know, man.
It looks fun.
But what's cool about it is that when you pass the ball, it gets faster.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of a cool, interesting skill-based thing where you better learn how to catch it or you're going to go out, right? So
my big thing with that was oh man, hope the Wi-Fi can keep up. Because if you're even a quarter second off, you're going to get knocked out in the city.
EA's got a bunch of EA's got some good servers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they should be fine.
Because there's a bunch of crossplay with it, that's part of the thing. So
oh man, here it is. Sifu.
Yo.
Fresh martial arts game.
Let's go.
From Absolver developer Slow Clap. I could care less about this game.
I am
Alex
so surprised.
Was so excited.
Okay, so have you seen
I don't like the art style.
Have you seen those movies The Raid?
Yeah.
Dude, it's that.
Yeah, but I don't like the art style.
I actually really like the art style.
I don't know. It's fine.
It's like Wind Waker, but more gritty.
I guess. Alex was very surprised that I'm not excited.
This was my
game of the show.
I think this was my favorite announcement. And, even over 4K 60 FPS. Yeah. I think this was my favorite announcement. When I saw this, I was like, yo, this game looks really fun. Because Absolver was a game that came out, I think, last gen.
It's the martial arts MMO.
Yeah, and I don't think it did super, super well. But one thing like it is known for is having really, really polished and satisfying close quarter combat gameplay.
I played it, and I don't think the combat was that good.
I played a demo at E3, and I thought it was pretty cool. And like, I feel like when you watch this trailer, you're like, that makes a lot of sense that these guys are like that team is making this game, because the combat looks really clean.
I guess. I don't know.
I'm super excited. Like, I'm definitely gonna like day one play this.
Really?
Dude. It looks so cool.
What if it's $70? His face just melted, listeners.
It melted because I don't know how long it's gonna be. I don't think it looks, because this is kind of like a roguelike too.
I don't think so.
I read about it a little bit. Yeah,
your favorite genre, baby.
Yeah, like you go through like all like this building to get revenge on the dude.
Yeah,
and you have like lives where like you die and like you get older, I guess.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But then like when you just die of old age, like then you restart from the beginning. I think I read a little like developer note about it. So that's kind of what it seems like. But yeah, dude, the combats look so much fun. I'll
check it out again.
And like the camera work.
Yeah. I do have to confess, when I was watching the state of play,
confess your sin.
I saw it and I'm like, oh, this is fine, whatever. And then I like tuned out, and then like the stream like glitched out, so that I had to
you're thinking of the Pokemon stream.
No, I'm talking about the state of play stream too.
They worked fine for me.
Yeah, but I saw it and I'm like, oh, this is whatever, and then I like turned away and then it glitched and I had to restart it. So I didn't see much of it. I just saw like
I'll make you rewatch it.
Maybe. So we got a new look at the intriguing looking Solar Ash, an Annapurna Interactive published game from Hyperlife Drifter's studio Heart Machine, coming in 2021. Any thoughts?
Seems like sci-fi Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, is it?
It kind of seems like that with like some what's that game? Gravity Rush. It kind of seems like a cross of like Gravity Rush and Shadow of the Colossus. So, seems kind of cool. I would consider checking it out.
You're just like, it's a PlayStation Plus game. Bro.
Yeah, if it was on PlayStation Plus, I'd definitely get it. But
Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach is a thing.
Hard pass for me.
And then so it's going to be for PS4 and PS5. So I
don't understand the appeal
it's like a streaming game. A lot of people stream that game. Yeah. I used to watch a lot of people stream Five Nights at Freddy's. I never played it.
Their reactions and stuff.
Yeah. And like there's apparently like some deep lore in there.
Like, the graphics are not good. It looks like a PS3 game.
Wow.
And I don't know, like the gameplay, like it's a horror game, right? So you're not doing it for the gameplay, I guess, but I don't know, it just looks so boring. Well,
that's a hot take from Mr. Samuel over here.
I don't know.
So he's not playing that game. Oddworld Soulstorm, which was revealed to launch on April 6th and arrive on PS5 as part of PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, it's it sure is. I don't know, dude. Like I'm moving my mic closer, so I don't know if that's making noise, but I played Munch's Odyssey, which I want to believe is like the second game in the Oddworld series. I don't know, like it seems like it's trying to be Ratchet and Clank with like its vibe and its humor and its characters, but I just don't get that. Maybe it's because I think the character designs look like garbage, like actual garbage. Oh, man. Because there's like moldy green, gross looking. And then the world is just so drab.
It's like gray.
Yeah, it's almost like... I don't know.
But that's her vibe.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
My wife, Samantha, she's really into it. So I
need to ask her about this.
Yeah.
If she's actually, or if you're just
No, I'm being super serious.
Because I don't believe anyone is...
well, people have to be, because they're making, like... Yeah, this is like their sixth game.
Yeah, it's like their fourth or fifth game. Yeah. I don't get it.
Right.
I don't know who's buying these games.
My wife, Samantha.
Yeah, she's keeping the company afloat.
Yeah, so she's really into it. She used to play it a lot when she was when they played on Xbox. So I'm sure when this comes out, she's going to be really down to play it. This is one that you're super interested in. Kena Bridge of Spirits continues to look adorable. I'm sorry. Kena Bridge of Spirits got delayed to August 24th.
Which is like right after my birthday. So it's kind of cool. Maybe I'll like take like that Friday off or something to like play it. I don't know. It probably launches like a Thursday, right?
Listen to that, new employer. He's gonna take that Friday off for his birthday
man,
to play a game that wasn't
if I've got PTO, I'm gonna use the PTO.
Yeah.
So this. Okay, it kind of works out for me because this was supposed to launch in March.
Right.
But
now you have nothing to play in March.
I was a little worried because I was like, crap, because the Yakuza 7 PS5 upgrade also comes out in March. It's actually coming out this Tuesday.
7? Wait, 7?
Oh, like a dragon.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking, all right. I was like, okay.
Yeah, okay. So... and I've been really looking forward to that. Like, I've had it. I've had, like, the PS4 version just, like, sitting there because I've been waiting for this upgrade. So I was conflicted because that's, like, supposed to be a pretty long game. I'm like, but I really want to play Kino, like, when it launches, so we could talk about it here. But now I know I don't have that conflict because it got delayed. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm just hoping, like, another big launch game, like Final Fantasy 16. Who knows when that's coming out, but or, like, the new God of War. I hope it's not coming out in, like, August because...
I don't think it will. It'll probably come out either early, like, late spring or, like, early summer or...
Next year?
No, like... If it's still slated to come out this year, it'll be like early summer.
God of War.
Or like early spring, winter.
One of the studio or one of the main guys at Santa Monica Studios, he tweeted, he was like, I keep getting this question and the answer is when it's ready.
So not this year.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, who knows? But
I think Forbidden West is coming out this year.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if we've gotten like any sort of...
Because it's been like a couple of years since Horizon first came out.
It came out when you were living at your old place.
Oh yeah. So it's been a hot second. So I think that should be ready, and it's a cross-gen game. So.
Oh right.
Right. So it's coming out on PS4.
Yeah. So Kino's delayed. A lot of people are probably upset at that. It kind of works out for my schedule, so I'm okay with it. But yeah, it literally looks like Legend of Zelda crossed with a Studio Ghibli movie.
Yeah.
And I'm down.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of, in Spirited Away, those tiny little black, ash smoke. That's what it looked like.
It totally does.
Yeah. So, cool. What do you call it? Arcane developed Deathloop showed up.
Kina's $40.
Oh, yeah. Which is it's a great deal.
Yeah, like that game looks like so polished. It looks
what if it's 6 hours long?
Fun and creative, and the gameplay looks cool, and it's only $40. They said it's going to be like 8 to 10 hours. Probably.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah,
that's only
for 40.
That's
that's awesome. Yeah. I'm down for it. Anyways, you may move on.
You may move on now with your show, sir. Arcane developed Deathloop showed up with its own catchy deja vu Bond theme. There's no release date yet for that game. Still weird because Arcane is now owned by Xbox, and Deathloop is an exclusive for the PlayStation. So
yeah, but it might move to Xbox. It might be like a timed exclusive.
I don't know, but
we'll
there might be contracts already in place. But yeah, like it's kind of one of those weird things. And then the big boy show.
Oh, you have nothing about Deathloop?
Oh no,
I feel like you'd be into that.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
I don't really care.
Okay. Yeah,
it sucks because I actually know people that work at Arcade. I'm sure that game is really good.
Yeah. No, it looks cool. I'm not into first-person shooters.
Yeah.
Like it looks like Dishonored.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
Well, it's made by the Dishonored devs. So.
Oh, there we go, yeah. Because I've almost bought Dishonored so many times because, like, you're like a teleporting assassin and, like, it looks really cool.
Because Deathloop is like a roguelike again.
Yeah. Oh.
It's like a shooter roguelike.
Never mind.
Right. But what's cool about it is that, if listeners, you don't know this, what's cool about it is that it's a roguelike kind of game, but also there is another player trying to kill you at the same time.
Okay, that's
so
cool.
There's like a PvP, PvE at the same experience there. So as you're trying to assassinate some key targets, someone's trying to assassinate you from killing them.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's kind of like a cool concept. And then the big boy news, before Alex rudely interrupted me, is that the show closed with a look at Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade.
What a name.
Well,
love it.
Square Enix loves to make their weird names. Due on June 10th, 2021, it offers shinier graphics, faster loading times, and an extra chapter. You can upgrade from the PS4 version for free, then pay to get the new chapter featuring Yuffie. So just a heads up, Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be a PS Plus game in March, but what Alex just informed me is that you can only upgrade it to the PS5 version if you purchase it before then.
Yeah. And I'm unsure if I don't know, episode Yuffie, is that what it's called, or something else?
I have no clue.
Well, it's called episode Yuffie. I don't know if that's a PS5 exclusive.
Oh, I think it'll be able to be played on PS4 because I would hope
because it's being on.
Right, so it's being ported to PS5, so I'm sure that it'll be integrated into that system as well. So I don't think it'll be too taxing on the system because it's using the same assets.
Yeah.
Right. So Alex, since we talked through this, what stood out to you in the state of play? I'm assuming it's the Final Fantasy
4K, 60 FPS Tifa.
Dude.
Yeah, that's really cool. I was not expecting that sort of DLC, the additional content there. I was expecting an upgrade, like the PS5 upgrade version of that. That's nothing crazy, but yeah, so that's cool. I'm definitely going to play that in June. Sifu.
I don't know who that is.
That's the game.
I thought that was a Final Fantasy song.
Yeah, Sifu stood out to me the most because not expecting that. I love the art direction that the combat looks really satisfying. Yeah. So that's my show.
That's cool. So what you're trying to say is that the state of play did not disappoint. You really enjoyed it much better than the Nintendo Direct.
They were pretty equal. I don't know.
Yeah,
they're both pretty disappointing. It's crazy to me how they ended. Their big thing was Final Fantasy VII Remake coming to the PS5.
I think that is a big thing. I don't
know.
Honestly, because I think that's a big thing because one, I think Chapter 2 is coming out soon. Honestly, and then two, the integrated chapter is a very nice surprise as a holdover. For you.
The DLC.
Yeah, the DLC as a holdover because I was not expecting anything in between.
I guess Sony has first party Sony stuff. They have a lot of stuff brewing.
Yeah. And
so that this was the show closer, the showstopper. It's
right.
Interesting.
What I think is really cool.
It was good news. Yeah.
What I think is really cool about the state of plays now is they've kind of gotten to the same level as the Nintendo Directs. Because when it first started, people were Sony's trying to do the Nintendo thing. And but now whenever a state of play gets announced, I get excited because I'm thinking what's going to get announced?
I would say I get more excited.
Right. Because you're a Sony person. But it's interesting that Xbox doesn't have that, which is kind of a bummer that they're the only ones missing from this fight. It's just they don't have that. They don't have those games to show off.
The thing is with the Sony state of plays, I could get so excited by any piece of information that gets launched there. Whereas with a Nintendo Direct, Smash, Mario, Asterisk, would I get excited in Zelda?
Yeah.
And Star Fox, which will never happen, but so there's
Star Fox.
There's 2.5
Babeo.
There's 2.5 franchises I would be really happy and excited
Bayonetta.
about Nintendo. I've never played them. I don't know.
So good. You should check them out.
I know
they're your
really
jam
for it, but yeah.
It's a little campy. But on that note, so much more stuff got announced.
Yep.
So there was also a Pokemon Direct today. We are recording on Friday, by the way. So just want to go through those. There's not a lot of stuff, but I did want to touch base on them. So there was more new Pokemon Snap gameplay shown. Were you excited? Did you
no. But I know I've seen on social media that people I follow on social media, so they're my age, our age. And they seem to be excited for it. And part of me is maybe that's just nostalgia. Yeah. Have you played the original one recently? But I don't know. So people are excited about it nonetheless. So that's not for me, but it's cool that people like it.
Yeah. And if you're in the Pokemon community, which I follow a lot really in-depthly, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl was leaked and was been floating around in the community for the longest time. Screenshots of this game was actually leaked last year, but no one believed it. No one believed the screenshots.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I'd be wow, you literally just made that in Microsoft Paint.
Oh my god. So Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl to be released later in 2021. That's kind of their naming convention. Yeah. These are remakes of the Sinnoh games. Are you going to play it? Are you excited about it? What are your thoughts?
Okay, so dude, I had I went through a lot of internal conversations, debates myself, do I even want this? Should I even support this sort of practice to the Pokemon Company / Nintendo? Ultimately, I think I will buy it.
Alex is like, I'm gonna tame some Temtems Pokemon.
So I am gonna buy it because I never played Diamond and Pearl. So because I never had a DS or 3DS, so I do want to experience it.
I think it would be a good way for you to get into competitive.
I don't know. I kind of want to in like Sword and Shield, but it's too much effort.
It's not that hard.
You said you put in like 200 hours in Sword and Shield.
Yeah, because I needed to make like multiple competitive Pokemon.
I don't know.
You just stick with one team.
It's just, I'll just play. I'll do my usual Pokemon thing where like I play through it. If there's post game stuff, I'll do that, and then I'll.
You should battle me.
No, well, maybe, I don't know.
Let's do it.
Sure, if you don't use any like juiced up Pokemon.
I won't. How about this? When Sinnoh, like when Brilliant Diamond and Brilliant Pearl come out, I won't use any final evolution Pokemon. And then
you're not gonna, but I can.
Yeah.
But you're gonna like juice them up.
Yeah, of course.
You're with like what are the SVs and IVs?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Get spanked by a Caterpie. Just wait.
Yeah, okay.
But the other cool thing that was announced was a new Pokemon IP, which is Pokemon Legends
Breath of the Wild.
Arceus. That they've confirmed a pronunciation now. People used to pronounce it as Arceus, but it's Arceus. So Pokemon Legends cool. Arceus is now, it's a new open world game that is set in the past, also in the Sinnoh region, where the player is tasked to create the very first Pokedex, set to launch in early 2022. I've got some thoughts about this game, Alex. What are yours?
I like it.
Yeah.
I think I like how they're using the character models from Sword and Shield, because I preferred those much more. It just makes it seem like it makes the scope of the world seem so much better.
Yeah.
Opposed to like the top-down one that they use on like the mobile games. So, but yeah, it seems cool. It seems like exploration is more of a priority rather than Pokemon battles. Like, you can Pokemon battle,
I think
but it seems like it's just kind of an accent to the adventure.
Right.
Maybe I got the wrong perception of it, but it seems cool. I feel like the Pokemon lore and the story could be fleshed out more, and maybe they're trying to do that here, so I'm down to check it out. Yeah.
So, I might not be correct, but I did read a few things.
Okay.
They could be completely wrong, but if I remember correctly, there are no turn-based battles in the game.
I saw in the trailer, you can like select moves.
Right, but I don't know if it's turn-based. It's energy-based. I don't know how that works. Maybe. I don't know. But, so
I think there's SP, or not SP, like
magic points.
No, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Like, you know, you have X amount of moves. Like, you don't use like Hydro Blast PP? 5 times. Yeah. Yeah, like I think.
How are you laughing?
I'm 5.
Are you 6? Pee-pee.
Okay. I just wasn't expecting that because I totally forgot that's what it's called. But I saw those numbers. Okay. I think.
Then I could be completely wrong. It looks like a really big departure from what the Pokemon games are like. It looks like you don't need to, whittle them down to catch the Pokemon. It's interesting to see.
You just yeet the ball.
Right, but it's interesting to, like, as a Pokemon fan, it's interesting to see the first rudimentary Pokeballs that they just have like little locks on them. And I think that was super cool. Yeah. But I do have some concerns about the game. That's my puppy, Viv. She's wearing her cone of shame right now. She's just saying hello. Oh, hello. But speaking of Pokemon Legends Arceus, it just seems like a really big departure from what the old Pokemon games look like. This is gonna sound really weird. I don't think it looks that good. Like, visually, I think it's really showing the limitations of the Switch, but I think it's also showing the limitations of the Pokemon Company as an organization. So I think they need a better art. I don't want to say better art team, but like, I think they need to revamp their art and assets within the game,
or move to the PlayStation.
Maybe, but like, it's just one of those weird things where you're starting to see like really big gaps graphically and technically within the game, because it's not even just the graphics. When I was looking at the trailer, a lot of the Pokemon in the overall don't even move. They either just like move up and down, or they just like stand there or walk around, while in other games, like there's a lot. It feels more lived in, and it's a living kind of game. Our dogs just ended up showing up. Mozzie is now hanging out with Alex. So if you hear some rustling, that's our puppies. But yeah, in general, the game looks interesting, and I'm glad that they're trying new things. I just hope that they can pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So go ahead.
But so I guess final thoughts. I did like this Pokemon Direct. They began with like I don't even know how long it was, but like maybe an 8 to 10 minute thing.
Like an ego stroke?
Yeah, where they were just like going over their timeline from like beginning till now. And I was like, wow, like Pokemon gets a lot of flack for not being innovative with their games, kind of like sticking to the same formula over and over, which I will not...
But they look the same.
Yeah.
All the games did look the same.
Yeah, which I will not disagree with. But then they're showing like not only just the games, like all the stuff they've done. The
trading card, the movies,
I'm like, wow,
anime,
they really are creative and like imaginative with their property outside of the games.
Yeah.
Like it's
the games you can't touch.
Yeah, they have like the clothing line, they have like the Pokemon store, they have like the cafe, and so like it all seemed very cool. So it was nice to like go down that, because I think everyone, while we do kind of give Pokemon crap, everyone has just good, some really form of attachment, fond, warm memories with Pokemon. Whether that was from Gen 1 or like Gen 3, like whenever you came on board, like you're like, this is cool. And it makes me feel good when I play.
Yeah, it's a children's version of dogfighting, so.
Oh my gosh.
Well, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong. But yeah, so.
But they're friends, Alex. Yeah. They're friends. You want your friends to fight other friends?
Yeah. Anyways, moving aside from the dogfighting.
The next thing is.
I just want to kind of. Final thoughts on like the Diamond and Pearl remakes. A lot of people are happy with how it looks.
Yeah.
A lot of people are. And I'm not like unhappy. Okay. Well, okay, no, I am unhappy about it.
I am unhappy, Ralph.
Like I really liked the models they used for Pokemon Sword and Shield, because for the longest time I wanted a Pokemon on consoles.
Right.
And that's what Sword and Shield felt like with these new models.
Right.
Dogs like wrestling with my right arm. And I get why they had the top-down view, because it was on mobile.
Yeah, on a handheld, console. Yeah.
So like they kind of had to do that. And then when Sword and Shield came out, I was like, this is what I've wanted. And now it's just not happening anymore.
Yeah.
But people do like it because it's a
nostalgia trip.
It is literally just more faithful to how it originally
was. I hate the overall models though. They're the worst. It's like Alex and I spoke about this like offline, but one of my big issues, I think I'm totally fine with the game. I'm definitely going to play it. My main drawback is that Pokemon don't follow you again. How many times do we need to tell Game Freak that we love
you to follow me?
Right, we love the Pokemon following us. So that's kind of like a bummer. And then the other thing too is that with the overworld like models, like the character models, they look super weird to me. I don't like how they look, but like when you go into the battle scene, like they have the actual like human proportion models out. So like I know that some other JRPGs do that same thing, but it just kind of bugs me because those models have already been made.
Yeah, so they made that deliberate artistic choice to have the chibis when you're walking around, and then yeah. So it's just one of those things. Yeah.
But that was the Pokemon Direct. So Anthem next got canceled. So if people aren't familiar, Anthem was a game that's kind of like a Destiny thing that EA wanted to make. I played it. I think the concept was super cool. It was just not a very good game. And so they were trying to do the Destiny thing where they do an upgrade to it and they really improve upon the game. So that got canceled. Buyer and publisher Electronic Arts are giving up on Anthem. The planned overhaul of the 2019 game, referred to as Anthem Next, or Anthem 2.0, is coming to an end, BioWare said in an update on the status of Anthem. The studio will continue to run the current live service for Anthem, which makes no sense to me, by the way. In a statement by their executive producer, Christian Daly, game development is hard. Decisions like these are not easy. Moving forward, we need to laser focus our efforts as a studio and strengthen the next Dragon Age and Mass Effect titles while continuing to provide quality updates to Star Wars: The Old Republic. What are your thoughts on Anthem's cancellation? Will this create a chilling effect on games as a service is Marvel Avengers next.
Oh man, Marvel's Avengers should be next, to be honest. So, I mean, let's be honest. Like Anthem, when it launched, like it failed, and for the preceding months, nothing was really done about it. There was some talk, but talk is cheap.
Yeah.
So like the fact that they're just finally saying, okay, hey, we can't anymore with Anthem. Fine, I'm down with that. Because it was a failure, like, move on from it and then, like, hopefully learn from your mistakes. So, you know, there are IPs that are really successful and that still have a fan base. Like, to say, hey, we need to knock these out of the park, I'm down for it. Yeah. So, I mean, dude, like I said earlier when I was talking about Knockout City,
man.
EA is... They're, I don't know, like, they seem to be on the upswing. Yeah. Since Battlefront 2, like, it was absolutely terrible and then they kind of turn it around. Yeah. So I hope the best for EA. They really have some lovable IPs. Game of service, kind of going back to one of your other questions. There's too many. Like it kind of was like the flavor of the month for like a couple of years. Yeah. And it can't be, just because it needs a really healthy, steady player base. So yeah. I don't know. Hopefully this is a message. Hopefully Outriders will do fine though, because it
looks good,
similar kind of thing. But yeah, it looks really polished. So
yeah, I'm kind of bummed about Anthem because it really did have promise for me.
It looked cool, just Iron Man suits.
Yeah. It looked like such a cool game to me. It just did not play well, and I was really hoping they could pull off Anthem next, but it just didn't happen. So it's kind of like a bummer. But it is what it is. That's just kind of how game development works. And I kind of agree, like, you know, it's hard to focus in on a game that's not proven. And then you have these other IPs like Dragon Age and Mass Effect that has such a ravenous fan base that, you know, you need to cultivate that audience. It's a bummer, but I totally get it. I know one of the things that may have been a cause that I think they brought up is just COVID. So it's really hard to develop that. So if they need to focus on putting some of their resources more on those IPs that are more important than Anthem, I think I kind of agree with that.
I also read that EA was going to make the next Dragon Age like a game as a service.
Oh no.
But then they're like, hey, people really like Jedi Fallen Order, which is single player only, just like narrative action focused. They're like, okay, we'll do that instead because people love Jedi Fallen Order. And I'm like, thank you for actually listening to your fans.
Well, it's also kind of like weird, right? Because Jedi, like Dragon Age Origins or the Dragon Age franchise is a single player game. So like it didn't need to be one of those things. So if its roots is in single player, you don't need to push it back. Like I think that's been proven by so many other games right now. Like God of War is a single player game. Jedi Fallen Order was a single player game. There's a lot of single player games that are like very successful. Spider-Man, right? So like it's been proven. So like just let that happen.
Yeah, I don't know like how this notion came into play. We're like, single player, terrible. We need multiplayer. We need microtransactions. Right. Like
I think the multiplayer thing is that they want it does make sense. The multiplayer makes sense because you can keep the player playing, and so it develops a culture. Right. Yeah, it creates a culture there. So it's also one of those things that if you've noticed, a lot of the older players, they use video games as a social like space for them. Yeah. So like if you have a social game, a multiplayer game that you can get people to keep on playing, you can create more fans that way because people get not only attachment to the game, but they also have an attachment to the experience that they have with their friends.
For sure. Yeah. A lot of like MMO players are older because of that reason.
Right. Yeah, so that's all of the news. I want to jump into some budget gaming. So Xbox Game Pass just added Dirt 5 and Super Hot Mind Control Delete. PlayStation has a PlayStation Indie sale. A few of the games that I think want to highlight is Little Nightmares Complete Edition is $7.49. Untitled Goose Game, which is $13.99. And Outer Wilds, which was not to be confused with Outer Worlds, which is also a very well-reviewed game, is $14.99. Nintendo has some good sales, which I'm surprised. Wow. So Nintendo has an NIS America Winter Sale. So Trails of Cold Steel, 3 is $35.99. Disgaea 4 Complete Plus, God, these Japanese companies, is $29.99. They also have an Activision and Blizzard sale. So Diablo 3 Eternal Collection is $29.99. And Spyro Reignited Trilogy is $19.99. For Steam, Destroy All Humans is $14.99. And Epic Game Store has Sunless Sea for free. But that's pretty much it. Thank you for sticking around for our 24th episode of Professional Casual Gamers. Thank you for my dogs for showing up at the end there and kind of letting their presence known. We had a lot of fun hanging out with each other and my dogs, and we hope you did too. If you have any discussion topics or questions, send it over at professionallycasualgamers@gmail.com or on our Instagram/Twitter at professionallycasualgamers. See you next week. Keep it casual.
Bye.